Hey everybody, welcome to the Say Report. This is your host, Siegen Sarowik, and of course my host, compatriot, comrade in arms. I'm never going to do it again. I'm never going to get it right. Devon, you're there.
Yeah, I'm definitely here. I was just gonna let you spiral out into well, basically be the victim of your own demise because
Yeah,
you were
yeah,
there. You were just like,
yeah. No, and then I doubted myself. And see, that's the lesson tonight, kids, is never doubt yourself.
never doubt yourself. Brought to you by the Say Report.
An all new Say Report tonight, pretty much. I mean, at least it feels like it is for me. We're recording on an all new system, program. I mean, I'm in front of a whole new desk setup. I have a whole new microphone in front of me. So apparently, I sound super sexy with this microphone. Hey,
I don't know who
oh.
told you that, but it
Anyway,
wasn't this guy.
but it
No, the newest thing about my desk is it hasn't even installed it. I went to a consignment shop last Sunday, and I didn't bring this up last week recording because it like so much had happened. But I went to this consignment shop in East Providence called Let's Consign It, which
mhm.
I don't know why they need to have like names that are jokes, right? Like, like
Oh,
seriously.
come on, man. If the porn industry has taught us anything, well, if the porn industry and the child hair care industry has taught us anything, a good pun will get you some good business.
Speaking of the child haircut industry, we'll get back to the consignment shop. There is a new child hair salon opening up on my commute into work, and it's called It's All About You. And I'm just like,
Oh,
what? No, that's a terrible name for your
that's
child
that
haircutting company.
that's not funny or anything, and it's also kind of dickish. Oh,
Yeah, right? Oh, we want our kids to be real privileged when they grow up.
we want them to be really concerned about their looks starting at a very young age.
America,
Oh
ladies and
man.
gentlemen. No, so I went to this consignment shop called Let's Consign It because Jeff, Ponytail Jeff, he was looking for a small table for a television because he wants to be playing more not SNES, sorry, that's what I play, playing more Nintendo 64, and he just didn't have a place to put a TV now that he has like an actual computer. So he was looking for like a tiny table. And in looking for this tiny table at the consignment shop, I found an old hardwood filing cabinet for $28. And I'm like, $28 is too much money to spend on this filing cabinet. I can't do it. As I look at my box from WB Mason, just full of assorted electronics that I stare at every week when I'm recording this Say Report. And I'm
And
like,
taxes from like 10 years ago, but yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And I'm like, you know what? I should get this file cabinet to put this WB Mason box in. But I'm like,
Yep.
$28 is a lot of money. Plus, Jeff was interested in it first. So I'm like, well, he got dibs, right? So then he eventually finds a little gardening table, and we go to check out, and they're like, oh, and it's not actually the $24 because it's been on our floor for so long. The price is this. And he's like, oh. So I looked at the tag, and I'm like, oh my God, that's on the tag, right? Like the date that like cuts the prices on the tab. So I run over to this file cabinet because it had been on the floor for 2 months. 14 bucks. $14 is worth it. I'm sorry.
Nice.
So it's been sitting upstairs because it's been really damp over in Rhode Island, and I wanted to clean it. Like I wanted to get out the Murphy's oil soap and just wipe it down to make sure that like no funky consignment shop disease came into my basement lair.
Yeah, of
I
course. I mean, this is how zombieism starts, right?
Exactly,
Like,
right? Like, oh, check this out. I bought a wooden cabinet and now zombies.
and now I'm a vampire, apparently.
Well, I did call my basement my lair, and so I thought I'd just lean into the skid. But yeah, so I brought it home. I cleaned it today because it was like the first really dry day that we've had in a week. And it is ready. I know exactly where it's going to go down here. I will miss the WB Mason box, but I'll make sure that Cookie Monster is still there for me to lock eyes with because he's sort of my
Nice.
analog for Siegen while I'm recording. Because I don't know if you guys have never met Siegen, his eyes go in two different directions, just like the Cookie Monster, and I don't
Especially when
think
there's
he
cookies
ever
around.
swallows his food. I feel like he
No.
just chews it and then it
I
goes
just
down
throw
the
it at my
throat.
face. I throw it at my face until it crumbles, and I just drop it everywhere. That's how I eat. Yeah, it's why I'm so skinny. For anybody that doesn't know me, I weigh like 90 pounds. I'm so underweight,
Yeah, and it's
and
because
yeah,
no
yeah.
one ever
It's
taught
because I don't eat the
Siegen how to
food, right?
eat properly.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Oh God. But yeah, so I'm very excited about this. That's the other thing. Plus, I've made a that has already opened up space on my desk. So my pop figures of the Phantom from the Phantom. I don't know how to describe that. Billy Zane was in the
Billy
movie.
Zane's the Phantom. You have a pop of that particular Phantom. See, I would understand possibly having a pop of the old like strip cartoons, but having a pop of that one specifically. Did it come with a little microscope that poked people's eyes out? That's
No,
the only way I'd justify it. Did it come with the Treat Williams? I won't.
no, it did not come with Treat Williams, unfortunately. Gosh, he's a great cat. He is so good in that movie. No, it just and it's not
That
really
movie's
specifically that.
ridiculous.
Well, here's the thing, all right? Let's talk about how ridiculous the Phantom is. We're saving that for a very special episode, though, because oh my god, I want to be prepared for a Phantom conversation. And it's not so much that he is a Billy Zane Phantom pop figure, but it's just they did the best job translating a comic book character's costume from the page to the screen.
Oh,
Maybe
you
Dick
mean the really
Tracy is
awkward like
better.
latex costume that he has on the whole time? That
Yeah.
like purpley like fabricy nonsense?
If you made a Phantom movie today, he would wear black leather and everybody would be okay with it. The
Oh
purple would
yeah.
be his eye mask and that's it.
I don't know, man. I feel like nowadays, like 5 years ago, I think you would have been right. You know, like deep in the Frank Miller like shit of it all, like you totally would have been right. But I think we've come back around to being totally okay with some goofy
Wolverine is
stuff.
never going to wear yellow spandex.
Not as long as Fox has a say in it, but you better freaking believe the second that Marvel gets those rights back, the first thing you'll see is yellow
Oh
spandex.
god, it'll also be a different Wolverine. It won't be Hugh Jackman.
We think, although speaking of vampires, that dude's gonna live forever.
Well, yes, because he's a vampire. That's not a joke. That is said completely true. Come at me, libel. Well, it's written it's libel, right? If it's
So if it's
spoken, it's
spoken and
slander.
it's just slander, yeah.
We learned everything from Marvel movies. I also, just moving on to the pop collection, who was just staring me down like, where's this going, Devon? I have Sailor Jupiter and I have Proto Man. And I
Oh,
think that really
excellent.
just describes a person, the pop figures that they have on their desk. So Billy
So
Zane
on my desk in
Phantom.
front of me, I have Finn from episode 7. I have Ollie and Angel, and I have Booker and Elizabeth from Bioshock Infinite. Those are the pop figures that I have looking at me.
The pop figure that I have one adjacent to my desk that I'm real proud of, and I can't believe I haven't brought up yet. San Diego Comic Con exclusive Negatron Darkwing Duck.
That's amazing.
Oh yeah, glows in the dark. Apparently,
Oh,
I
that's
don't.
so
I've
good.
never like done that. When you were a kid, right? You obviously had a glow in the dark toy, right? We grew up in the '90s.
I had a lot of glow in the dark toys, but you know the one I remember when Casper came out, Pizza Hut did that, or Domino's did that whole
It was
like deal with
Pizza
them. I
Hut,
think it
all
was
right.
Pizza
It
Hut,
was Pizza Hut.
and I got the all of the stupid rubberized pan puppets of the uncles that also glowed in the dark. I had all three of them, and I have those around somewhere. I think the Stinky was the one that lasted the longest in my house.
I had every one of those, including Casper, except for Fatso. I never was able to get a Fatso, and that like that.
In fact, so was the only one that it really worked for because he was so big.
Casper glue in the dark pretty well. I'm not gonna lie.
Mhm.
Yeah, God, look at dude, you brought me back to a place with that. You brought me back to a place. Also, I don't know why. I mean, Pizza Hut is the pizza place that we think of because of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles on VHS. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Oh, they bought their ways into everybody's heart, just much like Reese's did in E.T. and Coke did in Mac and Me. Like that's
It's weird that you would go with Coke for Mac
I
and
don't,
Me, the
it's because
90-minute McDonald's commercial.
because nobody bought their way into anybody's heart through Mac and Me.
Oh, Paul Rudd did. Paul Rudd bought
Well,
his way
okay,
into my
Paul
heart.
Rudd did, but that's not fair. He used Mac and Me. He wasn't in Mac and Me.
He's not in it. I always assumed that he played Mac or me. I thought that he had some deep seated connection to that film, and he's just like, never forget Mac and Me.
No,
Never forget.
he just really likes shoving it in everybody's face every time he's on Conan. That's about it.
Love it, absolutely. But wait. But Pizza Hut, for the longest time, their like giveaway to compete with Happy Meals and Kid Meal toys were puppets. Like
Hmm.
the Land Before Time hand puppets. And it's like, what the frig is this? What are you doing, Pizza Hut?
Why did they even feel? I don't know. Pizza Hut was trying real hard in the '90s. They've come back around,
Oh yeah,
though.
dude.
I'm not afraid to say it.
Oh,
I'm down. Yeah,
seven
$20
ninety
Hut box.
nine.
I'm down with that.
Oh, dude, $7.99, two topping, large pizza, any day of the week, carry out or delivery. Thank you. We've ended it. Not a sponsor. Pizza Hut is not a sponsor. This felt like a
No,
very,
no, no, no,
very
not at
poorly
all.
implemented sponsorship thing that you hear on other podcasts. But like, if you didn't think it sounded poorly implemented, and we just were like real hyped up on Pizza Hut, the Say Report
The local pizza over pizza.
now accepting sponsors. I don't know. Yeah, local pizza is always better. But like, if I just need like a quick pizza fix and I don't want to spend a lot of money, Pizza Hut's my go to.
The big thing out here for everybody is the Little Caesar $5 deal where you just run in the store, throw $5 at them, and they literally just pull a pizza out that they made an hour ago. And like, I get the appeal of that, but like, it is insane to me how many people in the Midwest are way into that Little Caesars thing. Especially because when I was a kid, Little Caesars was the place you went to when it was in Kmart's. Like, I don't think of going to Little Caesars outside of like inside of like a Kmart entrance, right? So like to me, it wasn't ever real food. And I'm not knocking Little Caesars. I just honestly thought it didn't exist anymore. And then all of a sudden I came out here and everybody's just like, yeah, I think I'm gonna get a whole pizza for lunch. And it's just like, oh, we do that. Okay, let's do that.
So, Little Caesars, there was one next to the Blockbuster I used to work at. I don't know if you ever knew me when I worked at the Blockbuster in Coventry.
No, I knew you and you were Hollywood Video, you traitor.
Oh no, come on. I just loved renting people movies. I love
Blockbuster was going way down south.
Oh yeah. But yeah, so there was a Little Caesars in that plaza where Blockbuster was, and on Mondays, this was like going way back. Like I remember this in elementary school. On Mondays, you could get a pepperoni and cheese pizza for $5. Only on Mondays. And we would go as a family and buy 5, 6 pizzas and then freeze them so that we'd have pizza that night, and then like if you ever wanted a snack, Little Caesars could get warmed up and that's your snack.
I
My
mean,
father brought it for lunch. It was very thrifty.
what they make pizza like it's going out of style. Like that seems to be pizza like Little Caesars like big like in now with pizza. Is they're like, you know what everybody else doesn't want to tell you how cheap this process is. And then they just put a bunch of shit together and it's just ready for you when you show up. Who can argue with that?
I mean, it's pretty great to walk in and be like, "Yeah, I'll take a pizza." And also,
Yeah.
the $5 pizza deal is pretty good, but their $5 lunch special is like awesome because it's the deep dish pizza, which usually
Hmm.
sells at a premium, like $8, $9. You get half
I,
of one of those, and you
yeah.
get a drink, and it's like I'm
I will
full.
say that there is one Domino's in the middle of the little town that I am currently going to grad school in, and they do slices of pizza, which I've never seen at a Domino's, but they have hot and ready slices, and they are open till 4 o'clock in the morning, and it is one of the most genius business plans ever because they are right at the end of the street between the bars and campus. So everybody stops in for just a slice of pizza, slice of Domino's on the way home. I think that's the reason they're able to get away with it is because they make so much money off of it.
Yeah,
It
no,
has saved me
they
many a
probably
time.
and they're probably making more money than if people were coming in and buying a full pizza.
Hmm.
Because by chunking it out and selling like each slice for I'm gonna say $2, right?
That's cheaper than they're selling it
Oh
for,
my
but yes.
God! What are
Yeah.
they selling it
No,
for?
no,
Like
no.
4?
Like
Jeez.
no, like 250. Like there but $2 is a good estimate. It's like so like
Well,
two
like a
dollars a
large
slice.
pizza at Pizza Hut is not Pizza Hut. My God, we've talked so much about pizza tonight. I kind of love it. I kind of
We
love that
can
we're
keep
just
talking
like
about pizza.
it's pizza time, mother truckers. But a large pizza at Domino's is like $7. So if
Uh-huh.
they're selling a slice for $4, they've just they've quadrupled their price margin right there, right? Like
Yeah, essentially. Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, they're making bank.
they're
It's a
making
really smart move.
bank.
But like I said, it saved my ass a couple of times because coming home 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, and you just need something greasy, cheesy, and bready to like soak up all that crap in you. It's
What I
perfect.
really liked about that little town you're going to grad school in is the Taco Bell that is located in the middle of it, and just
Hmm.
like there's no good way to get in, there's no good way to get out,
It
but
is
it
the
is.
busiest restaurant in all of town though. Taco Bell in the middle of town, it is the place to go. It's one of the few 24-hour places in that area. It is, and everybody goes there, and everybody ends up working there for at least one day. I guarantee you, everybody in this town ends up working at Taco Bell for one day.
And the worst part about that is that you're in Del Taco country.
Mm,
Like you could be getting Del Taco.
yeah, that's no, you're not wrong. I don't mind a Del Taco when I can find it, but
The
man,
amount of cheese that they put on a Del Taco is so good. I don't know. All right, so I think that's everything I have to say on fast food and pizza this week.
no,
Anything
you know
to
what this
add?
is? We're just covering our asses so that inevitably in the third season, when we have to bring in sponsors, it doesn't seem weird when we start holding Subway up to the camera all the time.
Oh God. Can we? Can it? I'm not accepting a sponsorship deal from Subway. I'm drawing it in the sand. Episode 31. Devon Decker went on record. Subway will never sponsor us.
That's fine. I could deal with never being sponsored by Subway.
I love that if this were It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, black screen, The Say Report, sponsored by Subway.
Jerk people playing over it.
Oh, jeez. Okay, Sejan. So
Oh
I'm
man.
sure that did you come with anything prepared to talk about this week?
I've not deep in. Don't want to talk about it until I finish, but I
You're
it'd
kind
be
of garbled. I'm
remiss
sort of
if we
losing
didn't
you. Oh, there we
mention.
go. I got you. Hello.
Should I start again? Sorry,
Yeah.
hold on.
All
I'm going
right.
to give you a moment of silence so that we can figure this out.
Oh no, I'm probably not gonna edit it. Just like no, no, no.
Beautiful. I love it. All right. No, so Defenders came out this week. Just cutting through all the bullshit. Like Marvel's Defenders on Netflix, and so that's the big thing for me this week. And first impressions, I just wanted to get that out there now. I'm super excited because the last couple of seasons of shows that Marvel has done have been really good, but Luke Cage and Iron Fist were both really light on some of the comic booky action that I think I wanted. Luke Cage less so. Luke Cage definitely had some really good moments, but there was a lot of stuff in Luke Cage that didn't have anything to do with the fact that he was a superhero, right? And then Iron Fist was like it was angering how few times they allowed him to actually be Iron Fist. Part of the many issues with that show. But Defenders opens up immediately with a sword fight in a sewer and in a foreign country. It's amazing. So I'm super excited to see where the rest of the season goes. Also, I've just heard a million great things about it. I don't know, like Devin, how much do you know about like Netflix's like reporting matrices and stuff like that?
The reporting matrices I don't know anything about. And before we actually get into the analytics of it, because I do love analytics, I have too many pages of paper speaking about Marvel and DC to disprove that fact. To not disprove, I don't know what I'm trying to say is that there's too much evidence that says I love analytics. Is I find it very odd that as deep into heroes as I am, I like comic books, I like superheroes and all that. Never was able to connect with the Netflix Marvel universe.
Well, that's really interesting, actually, because I actually was looking at, of all things, a Cracked article this weekend that was about how, so take it all with a grain of salt, but talking about how like the Marvel television stuff in general, so including the stuff on ABC, has kind of really been more than damaging than good for the whole brand. And I thought it was a really interesting take on it, and they were obviously being kind of jokey because they couldn't stop gushing over some of the stuff like Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, and first season Daredevil, right? But like talking about like how a lot of the stuff that you get wrapped up in the TV show like really starts to take away from some of the idea of the Marvel branding, and it's not at all like going to a Marvel movie, and they're not wrong, right? And it was a really good kind of like dig at some of the stuff that is seriously wrong with some of the stuff they've been doing on TV. I mean, have you looked into any of the Inhuman stuff that's been going on? It does not look good. Like it, and I don't mean the show doesn't look good. I mean just the story around the creation of it and like everything going with the way that they've been kind of like pissing off fans and like they're just kind of like they're kind of dooming it to fail.
Yeah, I don't know what they're doing with Inhumans. When they announced that it was going to be a television series, I was admittedly like surprised because I was looking forward to it as a movie, right? Like
Yes,
when they're like,
yes.
this is going to be a film, I'm like, cool, because then I feel like the movie universe will borrow these fantastic characters that exist as Inhumans.
Hmm.
But at the same time, there is that very, very blatant issue with the fact that Inhumans were the Marvel Cinematic Universe answer to mutants
Yeah,
because they
because
couldn't use mutants because of that prior existing deal with Fox over X-Men.
mhm.
So it's like and they did it the right way. I'll be completely honest with that. Had they just shoved them into movies, I think everybody would have called bullshit on it. But by like laying the groundwork in those early Iron Man film was a success days and being like, we're going to introduce these Inhumans, we're going to make them a deeper race, we're going to give them deeper meaning within the world, we're going to have the House of M thing where we eliminate like 90% of the mutants that currently exist in the Marvel universe. Like they played it off very, very intelligently. And then I feel like they can't compete with the fact that these X-Men movies are still their biggest competition. No one is interested in the Inhumans the way that they're still
Yeah,
interested in the X-Men and their mutants.
well, into Shield did you get?
What was that? Agents of Shield? I watch that. I
And
watch that all the time.
yeah,
And
so
but
the
I
thing that
feel like
they
they dropped the
ended up
ball with that
doing on
too.
Shield. Well, I feel like having them become part of, like, I mean, they dedicated a whole season to the storyline, right? And having it be part of their universe was super intelligent. When they said they were going to break it off and do anything besides that, that's when I got, like, kind of caught off guard because they were doing such a good job of representing the Inhuman stuff in S.H.I.E.L.D. that I was like, why bother making it a separate thing? And then, like, the idea of it being possibly a spin off of S.H.I.E.L.D. was interesting, but that doesn't look like that's what they're doing at all with Inhumans. So, like, I don't know where they're going or what they're trying to do with this franchise, you know?
No, I 100% know. I'm gonna watch it, but I'm still kind of mad at them about Agent Carter too. I mean, like this started as a discussion about the Netflix universe, and I do call it the Netflix universe. I mean, honestly, just because I love her. Alfre Woodard has sort of a big role in Civil War, and then she has sort of a big role as a different character in Luke Cage. So that right there makes it a little bit difficult for me to reconcile her as existing in the universe as two different actresses. I mean, as same actress, two different characters. Because it's weird to use someone like her as like she's huge. Alfre Woodard is huge.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it would be like including the Fantastic Four that already existed in this universe and being like, but Captain America can't be in both. Like you're not wrong. Like and the thing is tonally they just don't always feel the same. I do kind of like the way when I'm watching the Netflix shows, the way that they slightly reference the movies and the events. Like I do appreciate that, but I don't ever feel like the stuff that happens on Netflix ever needs to really affect the stuff I go to see in the movie theater. Like I don't need that to happen as a fan of both, you know?
Right. And the best example of that is watching Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. when Civil War happened. Not Civil War, The Winter Soldier came out, and
Right.
seeing the aftermath of Winter Soldier affecting Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was excellent. That was
Yeah.
when that show became must watch TV, as
Oh, of
far as
course.
I'm
Yeah.
concerned, because huge. But, like, you still have to get over this hurdle that in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Phil Coulson is alive. So what are the Avengers continuing to avenge?
Right. Well, and then by this point, you could argue that there's a whole bunch of their own crap wrapped up in it. But yes, I get exactly what you're talking about. Like the thing that brought them together has turned out to be not a lie, but they don't know everything about what brought them together. And who knows? That could be a really interesting reveal in Infinity War. Oh my God, if they ever thought to do that.
All right, first of all,
But
on record, we said it here first. Second, yeah, right, because, like, how is the.
if they bring Clark Gregg back into the movie universe, I will piss my pants in the theater. Like I will be so happy. I will lose all control of all bodily functions. I will not be able to eat. I will throw food at my face.
It has been 4 years, and Phil Coulson is walking around, and it's not like he's walking around quiet. He was
No.
announced as the head of Shield.
Yeah, no,
So like, you don't think
he's
like
fucking he's
Tony?
like James Bond. He walks into the room and then just says his name to everybody. And he's like, that super secret spy you all heard about. And it's like, all right, Phil, like take a breath.
Dude, he worked with Maria Hill, and then Maria Hill went and got a job with Tony Stark. You don't think there's one conversation of like, oh yeah, by the way, Coulson's still alive?
It's the darkest secret of the universe is nobody has told Tony, who honestly I think loves him more than anybody. And nobody has told Tony that Coulson is still alive, and
But
that
how
is
is
like the
Tony not
darkest
figuring it
secret.
out? Is he like too busy trying to woo back Pepper that like he can't read a newspaper? Because like
Yeah.
Phil Coulson has been in newspapers, and Tony owns an internationally recognized business.
Yeah, yeah. So there's some weirdness with the television shows and the movie universe, and like trying to, and the thing is, what I love about this, and I want to say this, what I love about this conversation that we're having is the exact same conversation that I've had about comics my whole life. Because this has always been the case when you've had different lines and you have different characters doing things in different lines that inevitably they retcon or they fix or they go back and they like re-explain how something fits into a story. But until they do that, you're left wondering like, wait a minute, isn't this character like being a total asshole in this other? Like, why are they suddenly on the good guys in this line? Why are they suddenly okay with this character in this line? Why are they suddenly alive here? Like, there's all of these kinds of questions happens all the time in comics, and I love that we've hit a point where we're okay with that being going on in the media because none of the things that we're talking about right now are failing because of these questions, but they are definitely questions that fans have.
It's true. It's a nice it's an interesting view on the evolution of art and how art changes and grows. Because like before it was just these funny books, and now it is big budget, multi-million-dollar, billion-dollar payday movies that we are having the same discussions about that we had in our tree houses when we were 9 years old.
Yeah, man, I love it. I really do. So like I don't want it to sound like we're coming down on any of this stuff because I enjoy the hell out of Shield, and I'm obviously going to check out Inhumans. But there's so much weirdness around like what does this mean with Thanos coming? What does this mean with all of the stuff that's happening? And I think it's time that we really kind of think about these shows as possibly being the thing that holds us over till Marvel figures out its movie stuff, So that's part of the reason why I am so hell bent on making sure that I at least get Defenders done within the next like week or two, is because like I am so determined to try and figure out where Netflix is going to go with this stuff now that they've added Punisher and all of that, and I'm so excited to see that it's going to be so much easier to watch than Iron Fist was. But yeah. And then going back to your whole thing about not being sure about the Netflix stuff and not connecting with it, like I don't know what to say other than like I wish that you could, man, because honestly, I think it's some of the best stuff that Marvel's produced. Like it is just so deep compared to the movies and even Shield, and I'm sure Inhumans won't be able to go nearly as far as Netflix does.
I mean, a little bit behind the curtain here. When we're preparing the Say report, Sejan comes up with a lighthearted idea and a heavy topic for each week, and I do the same. So completely unrelated to each of us, the Defenders were my lighter topic for this week. They weren't my heavy topic, and it seems like it was your heavy topic. And
It
my
was my
question,
yeah.
but my question about the Defenders was going to be, why was I so excited about the Avengers and that team up finally coming to fruition, but the Defenders, who are primarily made up of like characters that I loved as a kid, like Luke Cage and Daredevil are two people that I was regularly buying comic books for when I was 8 or 9 years old. Like, I've always loved Luke Cage. Power Man, I got him in this stupid little PSA comic book about smoking. And like that was my introduction. I'm like, this guy is awesome. I want more of this guy. So I actively sought him out. And the same with Daredevil. Like, I really liked those characters. So you think that these two guys getting a show, it's going to be right up my alley. But maybe I'm
Yeah.
too connected to them.
No, no,
In
no.
a way,
Here's
like,
here's honestly what I think it is. Here's what I think it is I think that you and I, being of a certain ilk and being of a certain age, right? We are men of a certain age, Devon.
oh
No, what
god,
it comes from is that movie studios are really good at getting people like you and me invested. We are the guys that they've been aiming all of their crap at since they were created. right? Like audiences like get in on that stuff. We are not the crowd that grew up with Netflix being standard, right? So Netflix's whole approach to anti-marketing, because that's really what they do. They don't market anything. They anti-market the hell out of their stuff. Like they hide things for so long and they hide things for so long afterwards to the point where like nobody can tell what Netflix is doing anymore. And they hate it, right? Like the industry hates that they can't tell what Netflix is going to do next. And so I think what it comes down to is has nothing to do with the movies or shows themselves. I think it honestly comes down to the marketing machine around both is not working in the same way. The movies are being thrown at you, and you being a guy that goes to the movies every week, you are more likely to go do that, right? Netflix needs to work in a different way in order to hook you, and they just haven't done that with these shows. And the thing is, they don't care to, because they're getting more than enough people watching this stuff without getting Devon Decker.
Dude,
And I
they
don't
still
mean
get my
like,
money every month, right? They
yep, and
still
they
get my
still get your
$10
money. Yeah,
subscription, even
yeah.
though I'm using it to watch American Dad, R.I.P.
Mm-hmm.
American Dad, 8/15/2017. Never forget. It's all pulled down. I didn't know if you knew that.
I
Um,
did, and I cried.
and like the Night Shift and Mako Mermaids, right? So even though I'm not
Mm-hmm.
watching these things that are the destination viewing for most of the people in the country, they're still getting my ducats.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right about that, right? Like they don't have to market this stuff. They don't need you to
Yep.
like them. And I'm not one of those things who like I don't love the stuff that needs me to like it, but like here's the thing. Daredevil, that stupid Daredevil movie with Ben Affleck that like on paper is garbage. It's pretty much a garbage movie. Like tip to tail, there are a lot of mistakes with that film, right? Lot of mistakes with the Daredevil movie from 2003,
But
but I fucking love it.
yeah, yeah, man. I
And
look, I
and
get that.
and I watched the first episode of Daredevil, and all of the little like references and characters, like up on top of the rooftop, where it's like, oh my god, I know who every one of these characters is. I was stupid excited, but then I like kept watching, and I'm like, but I can't get invested. Like
Mm.
I want to like you, but I can't. And then
Yeah.
like Jessica Jones, I might be the only person who was watching that for Kristen Ritter. And if I'm not, please contact us because I want more Kristen Ritter fans in my life. But like they really sold that show on David Tennant, and I was not interested for that reason. I was interested to see Kristen Ritter get to do something after Don't Trust the Bitch in Apartment 23. And what happens in Vegas.
Yeah. Oh, look, I will say that that show is more Christian Ritter's than it ever is Tennant's. Tennant does shine in that show, but she fucking owns
Right,
every
but
moment
like,
of
but
that.
again, like I watched that first episode and I just was not interested, and it
Yeah, yeah.
upset me a lot because I'm like, also Luke Cage is here, and I love Luke Cage and I love the guy playing Luke Cage, and I like that we got right into the fact that these two are what these two are.
Hmm.
Like I'm like, good, they're not spending any time, but then like it did that thing that I hate in movies, where like I felt like the movie itself lied to me in order to get one over on me. Does that make
Okay.
sense? Like
What was
there's
the lie?
I don't. It's like that third act reveal where I'm just like, oh, she's been under his spell this whole time, and I'm like, no, that's stupid, right? Because everything else you've told me up to that like disproves the fact that that could be the case. And it just felt like a little bit of a betrayal, and I'm like, I'm not interested in this, and
Oh,
it
you're still
hurt.
talking about Jessica. Okay,
I'm
you're
still
talking
talking
about.
about Jessica Jones. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Um, and then Luke
Yeah,
Cage,
no, no,
like,
no. I thought you were talking about Luke Cage. I thought
no,
you were
I
talking about
never
the
watched
series. I
Luke
get what you're
Cage.
saying now.
I never watched
Oh,
it
oh my
because
God, it's so good,
first
Devin.
of all, I was like, I'm like, this is not for me. Like after watching Daredevil, which like on every level should be for Devon Decker, and like they gave me the little things I like. I also love Vincent D'Onofrio, right? Like I'm like a
Yeah,
card carrying member of the Vincent D'Onofrio fan club,
yeah.
but nope, didn't work. Like couldn't get into it. Could not get into it. And then like when Jessica Jones fails for me as big as it did, and I love her, but like I'm just like I'm not interested in this story. I'm sorry, Kristen. I love you as an actress. I love what you're capable of.
All
I'm
right, all
sure
right.
you're going to shine. The story doesn't
So,
work for me. And then after hearing nothing but negative things about Luke Cage, I'm like, I'm not going to try again. I'm not going to get
where
hurt
did you
again.
hear negative things about Luke Cage?
Oh,
Oh my God, so many
everywhere.
things going on. No,
Everywhere.
Luke Cage is honestly might be the best show that they've done so far. So whoever told you negative things was lying to you deeply. So you should definitely check it out. But here's the thing that I think I might be really interested in if you would not mind at least trying this with me. I'd be really interested in you just jumping into Defenders and
Okay,
hearing what you have to
I'm
say.
fully willing to watch at least the first
Yeah,
episode of Defenders. I'm always
because
up
I
for a
will say
challenge.
one of the things that's really interesting about all this, and it's a whole other conversation unto itself. But like the big thing about the Netflix shows that's also been really interesting to watch is every season of every show is really its own thing stylistically. Like even the themes of each one, like they change. It's gorgeous. What it means is that. I'm sorry that you didn't like Jessica Jones, but I really think you should check out Luke Cage. I really think you should check out Iron Fist because they're nothing like Jessica Jones, right? And it's a shame that you couldn't get into that first season of Daredevil, but I don't know how much you're into like martial arts action like exploration because that is what that whole season is for the first season. Second season though, you might be more interested in because that is much more of a Daredevil oriented like let's tell a Daredevil story and it's the whole Elektra arc and all that sort of stuff that goes on, right? Like so maybe if season 1 didn't work for you, maybe season 2 would because it's not the like karate like breakdown that the first season was. I don't know, man, but like I'd be really interested in you watching Defenders, where you get to see kind of all of those guys just kind of in action in something different than you've ever seen them before. Because I guarantee you, Defenders will be nothing like Luke Cage. It'll be nothing like Daredevil, right? Like,
All right, I agree. I agree, and I will accept this challenge. I will accept this challenge. So let's shut the box on any Netflix Marvel talk until next week. I'm okay with that. If you're okay with that.
yeah, let's do it.
All right. So moving on to the next thing, Sejin, you have come to a diversion in the road. To the
Oh, oh
left,
God.
we can talk about how this coming week I will be fulfilling a bucket list item that I attempted to complete in high school and never was able to because of poor timing. Or we can go down this other path. Now, this other path is a little darker, it's a little denser, it's a little bit more world weary, but I feel like it's an important PSA for everyone. And I want to use this platform in order to talk to people directly about it. So, which road do you want to take, Sejin?
I think
Happy Devon doing a bucket list thing or the deep, dark PSA?
here's what I'll say. I'm going to say save the bucket list thing, and let me explain why. If you've gotten this far into the episode, and I'm not talking to you anymore, Devin, I'm talking to our fear listener. If you have gotten this far in the episode, you are invested at this point, and you're either going to listen to this and you're going to understand where we're coming from, or you have stopped listening, and so this was never for you in the first place. Let's do this. What do you got?
All right, Sejin. As you said just a scant 10 minutes ago, let's be generous. I go to the movies every week. It's something that I do. It's part of my character. If Devon Decker were assigned to you in a game of Dungeons and Dragons, in the character information, goes to the movies every week would be there. You'd be like, that's strange because we're going to go fight a dragon in the 1500s, but okay, whatever. Good to know. That being said, because I am a person who goes to the movies every week, back in 2015, I signed up for a program called MoviePass. Do you remember this?
Oh, I definitely do. Where you got to go to a shit ton of movies, a metric shit ton.
A metric shit ton of movies, as they themselves on their website, proclaimed and told you it is an all-you-can-eat buffet for moviegoers. That is the exact blurb that greets you when you went to the MoviePass site in 2015. And I'm like, I'm a moviegoer. And I looked at it, and it was a little bit pricey. It was $30 a month, and I could see a movie. There's some restrictions on that all-you-can-eat diet, right? They tell you that straight up.
So comparing this, so hold on, before we go too far away from the price, just comparing this to the normal price of a ticket for you to go to the movie.
4 movies. Once I saw 4 movies, the MoviePass paid for itself.
Okay, so as long as you were seeing 4 movies a month, though, that $30 wasn't actually that bad.
Right, exactly. It paid for itself, because I'd end up saving like $2 overall. And plus, because that's a movie a week, right? 4 movies in a month is a movie a week. But again, because I'm not paying, I was more willing to maybe go like, I'm not really into horror films, right? But 2015, I saw every horror film that came out because it didn't feel like real money, right?
Right.
It felt like, well, I saw these 4 movies I wanted to see. I guess I can go see The Lazarus Effect. And honestly, it kickstarted my interest in horror films, and I wondered why I even stopped. And then I saw Paranormal Activity 6, and, well, that's all she wrote. But regardless, yes. But there are some restrictions, and they were upfront about what those restrictions are. They say you can see a movie a day, which makes it sound like every 24-hour period you can see a film, right? That's what it sounds like to you, correct?
Right, right.
But the way that MoviePass works it is a 24-hour period from when you saw your last film. So, if you see a movie at 7 p.m. on Monday, you cannot see another film until after 7:01 p.m. on Tuesday.
Okay. All right.
So,
That's
like,
ridiculous, but all
which is a
right.
little bit ridiculous, right? And if you go to try it before, it'll be like 24 hours have not passed yet since your last screening. But even then, you can be an intelligent person, you can plan, you can schedule, and you can try to make it so that you're getting the most bang for your buck, right? If there's 3 movies you want to see, and one is a 7 o'clock show, one's a 7:15, and one's a 7:20, you know that you're seeing them in that order. You're seeing the 7
Right.
o'clock on Monday, the 7:15 on Tuesday, and the 7:20 on Wednesday. You know that that's what you got to do to get the most bang for your buck. If you're going to be insane, if you're going to try to treat this as an all-you-can-eat buffet of movies.
I think we've passed insane, but yes, keep
All
going.
right. But the other little soupçon of, like, just that you need to be aware of is you only get to see any given movie one time. So, like, you can't buy MoviePass and then be like, I've seen everything. Why don't I go check out Spider-Man Homecoming again? You are
Gross.
entering... Why? Because of Spider-Man Homecoming? I'm sorry you didn't like it.
No.
No.
That they do that you can't go to a movie twice, because if you do end up liking it and you want to bring somebody later, that almost seems to me like the perfect time to use your movie pass, because you've already paid once, maybe, right? Like, but this time you want to use that's
Right.
ridiculous.
So I think the way that they're looking at it is like, you didn't really pay the first time, so if you want to see it again, you'd be willing to pay the money that second time.
Oh, I see. I don't
So
agree with that, but I see.
Right. And that's the thing. And so that's another thing that you agree to, right? Now, the only thing that they mention in any of their marketing is that 3D and IMAX are off the table. You can't use this for 3D and you can't use this for IMAX. But in their marketing, in their big, like, splashy ads that you see on the internet, it has no mention of that a day equals 24-hour period from when you saw a film. And it does not mention that each movie can only be seen one time, right? And those are
Gross.
pretty big things, right?
Yeah.
And trust me, as soon as you get your MoviePass card, that's where you get to see that fine print. And it's not so fine, right? They put it in, it's about a nice 12-point Times New Roman, right? They want to make sure you can see it.
Of course.
We're not
In a legally
we're not
legible
sub 10.
font.
Yeah, it's legally legible. Then you get to the terms and conditions of it. And this is really where, and we'll get to why I'm talking so much about MoviePass in a moment. I mean, unless you live in the world and you know exactly why we're talking about MoviePass, stay strapped into your seat, because once I get to the big reveal of this, I feel like you're gonna, like, pull your hair. I don't know, what is that, like church ladies? You're gonna grasp your pearls. This is a pearl grasping story. In the terms and conditions that you agree to, really before you get a chance to read them, because you can try reading them online, but, like, the formatting is terrible. You don't get a written terms and conditions until you get your card in the mail. It says, MoviePass reserves the right to change the cost of subscription at their discretion and without notice. And that's buried in, like, section 23, subsection C of a 34-point terms and conditions.
Okay.
Right? And I mean, I guess it's also, like, this is not a PSA about reading terms and conditions. You should obviously read your terms and conditions because you don't want to turn into a human centipede. Thanks, Apple. But honestly, yeah, like, that's pretty deep, right? And that's a thing that, like, you should know, right? And even if they told you it up front with the whole, by the way, it's a 24-hour period, not 24-hour day, and you can only see each movie once, if they said, Subscription costs could change at any time at discretion of MoviePass. I feel like most people would be like, how bad's it going to be, right? I'm still going to use
Right.
this.
Right.
So I did use it. I used MoviePass from all of 2015. And in 2015, in case you haven't been following along in the Hall of Devonology, I was able to see 365 unique new films to me. A lot of those were seen in the theater, right? Not all of them. A lot of them were also seen at home. But let's say conservatively, about 150 of those movies were seen in the theater.
Okay.
And most of those used MoviePass.
Right.
So let's say that I saw 150 movies on MoviePass's dime. Whatever. January rolls along. I don't really want to see any movies. I'm kind of burnt out from it. February happens. I still use the MoviePass enough to make it worthwhile for the month of January. February comes along. I start to use it in greater frequency, but then I get a letter in the mail. And in this letter, it says that the subscription costs of MoviePass are going from $30 a month to $99 a month.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
How
Holy
many
shit is right.
how many movies you're gonna have to see a movie a day in order to make that worth it?
Well, if 4 clears 30, it's about 13 to clear $100 a month.
So you need to see a movie every other day, and I guess that would cover you for the 24-hour nonsense. But that's still
But
ridiculous.
dude, but
Like
that
besides
doesn't
you, who
cover
else is?
releases, right? Because that also says that there are going to be
Oh.
13 new movies within the monthly subscription cycle for you to see within
Which
your
isn't
area.
ever gonna happen.
No, not usually. I mean, like, and I even like expand. Like, the furthest I will go to see a movie is New Haven, Connecticut, because there's a nice bow tie Criterion Cinema that gets like the smallest of small releases. That's where I saw Fanboys for the first time. It's where I got to see things like 2 Days, One Night. That movie that I can't think of her name. Marion Cotillard was nominated for an Oscar for in
Yeah,
2015.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like, so I'm willing to travel too. But even then, that means that I need to find 13 new movies to see for this to continue to be worth it. Now, here's the thing, right? I guess I'm sort of guilty of that thing I said I don't like that movies do, by holding back a reveal to make it more shocking. Because MoviePass works so great for me, in 2015, my sister and my mother both ended up signing up for accounts as well. So each one of us was giving them $30 a month, and my sister and mother, to a lesser extent, they were mostly just getting their money's worth. They were seeing about 4 or 5 a month, right?
Yeah.
So that letter that comes from MoviePass is not addressed to the Decker family. It is not. There's not one for each of us. It is only addressed to Devon Decker. So that's where the gears in my head start turning. So I contact MoviePass because I want to make sure that if we're going to $100 a month, what I'm getting, what I'm going to be getting from them for paying such a premium, you know? Is it still going to be this 24-hour nonsense? They had implemented a thing where there was only so many tickets for morning shows, like before noontime. Like there's only a
Great.
set amount for the entire country of MoviePass users, and once that number is gone, it's done. Like they had made some changes where I'm like, if you're going to be raising the price, I need to know that like it's going to be worth it. Because right
Right,
now on
exactly.
paper, it's not worth it
Not in the
at
least.
all. So I call and I talk to a person, and I'm like, look, I understand. I read in the terms and conditions that at your discretion, you can change the subscription cost at any time. And that's completely fine. But I want to know, is it actually a day, or do I have to keep doing this 24 hours from screening nonsense? Can I see movies more than once? Are 3D or IMAX included? And I get from the woman that I talked to, it is a 24-hour period, no longer 24 hours from each screening, right? So at least they're fixing that one, right? And because the cost is now 3 times more, they'll throw in 3D and IMAX. But you can only see a movie one time.
Oh, okay.
But
Thanks.
but Siege, and I'm like, oh, thank you. But, Sejin, the important thing about that phone call is she says, if you're one of the subscribers who received that letter, then this is what the changes will be. So then I'm twirling my little chin beard, thinking like, what do you mean one of the subscribers who got that letter? Turns out those letters only go out to people who are taking advantage of MoviePass to the point that they're causing them a loss. It'd be like going to an all-you-can-eat buffet, right? Paying $10 for all you can eat, and then after they see that you ate more food than they accepted, they asked you for $20 more.
Okay. All right.
Because a letter never came for Dale and a letter never came for my mother. It was
That's
specifically
insane.
targeted at me because
Well,
I was
you
using.
were, you were abusing their system, Devon. You were going to see all these movies that they didn't expect you to. What do you want?
Well, that seems wrong, Sejin. I'm sorry, that seems wrong. It seems
No,
wrong to
it's
target
extremely
someone,
wrong.
especially when they're going to say to you, "All you can eat buffet for moviegoers." That's what they're selling themselves on. Now, the reason why I have taken you down this 20-minute discussion on MoviePass is because on Tuesday of last week, MoviePass announced that their monthly subscription cost is going down from $40 to $9.95 a month. And I have done the research, and they are guaranteeing that your subscription cost will remain $9.95 a month for a 12-month period.
Okay.
And I want to tell people to use it, right? When I first
Yeah,
got
yeah, yeah.
MoviePass, I told everyone that I could to sign up for it. And that's not because I'd save like $5 off my bill. It was because, honestly, these were people that I knew who went to 4 or more movies in a year. And I'm like, in a month, not in a year, 4 or more movies in a month. And this will be a benefit to you, right? You're essentially getting a free movie a month. Plus,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
still get all the reward stuff from any cinema you go to. If you go to National Amusements, you still get Star Pass points, right? So by not
That's awesome.
technically spending $75 there, you get the $75 rewards of free popcorn, soda, or movie, depending on where you are in their tier system. So like I've earned free stuff at Regal Cinemas too. Like it worked out for me. It was a great program. And I don't want to tell people not to get MoviePass as much as I feel like they should. But I do want to warn people that MoviePass is a wolf in sheep's clothing. I want them to know
Yeah.
that even though you're going to get $9.95, right, which is one movie, if you see one movie a month, MoviePass is worth it for you at $9.95 a month. But understand that at any given time, they might raise the subscription cost. Because I'm sure that 12-month guarantee is not accounting for that part in their terms and conditions that says we can change the subscription cost at any time.
Man, that is dark.
Right? Like, it's like everybody has been losing their fucking minds over it. My Facebook full of it. My Twitter feed blew up about it. My father yesterday watching CBS This Morning, it was national news, the MoviePass story.
Yeah, well, we'll
Like,
see how long it lasts because they can't hold back for long. Like in 3 or 4 months, they're gonna start actually because I feel like it was at a price point before, right? It was at a price point before where only people that really cared about movies, like you, for instance, would really even bother getting one. You said yourself, your mom and your sister didn't get one until they really saw it in action, right?
exactly.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Um, cough button. Yeah. So there's this whole thing where it was really only going to a select number of people that would bother getting it, and it's also they had kind of found this weird little spot where they also wouldn't go more than 4 or 5 times a month anyway, right? So they weren't really losing much money on the thing. So I feel like they saw the number of people doing that, which is probably majority of the people that got that thing, and they thought we can blow this thing up, and so that's why it's the 9.95 now. But I guarantee you, in 3 months when they see the numbers again, they're gonna back away from this real quick. It will not be $10 forever. There's no way that they can do that because honestly, doing that, I then want to know how they justify anybody else buying a movie ticket.
Right, exactly. And like already AMC is upset with them because they say that it goes against their own plans. Like it's bad for the movie business by
Well,
doing
and
that.
they're almost not wrong, right? Like
Well, are they
considering
almost
how
not wrong because they make their margin on concessions,
well,
popcorn and
right.
soda?
So the thing is like, so the question then starts to come in, like, where, I guess, where are they planning on getting the money for this movie pass stuff? Like, I just, it's ridiculous. Essentially, I bet you AMC's argument is clearly with that, with people buying these things, you don't plan on actually paying your bills, right? Like, you don't plan on doing this right. Like, what are you up to essentially? It's totally a move for them to like reveal whatever hand it is that they have because AMC's pissed that they didn't figure it out first. And so like that's totally what that is them just pointing this out publicly. So now they're kind of like in this weird spot where like either they answer AMC and reveal whatever it is that they're doing or don't and suddenly, they're investigated or something like.
Yes, and I think the big thing and the reason why like this seems like a fitting place to put this is not just because it happened this week, but because we talked about Netflix and their anti-marketing campaigns. The
Yeah.
reason that MoviePass has come to the prominence that it has, and it happened a year ago when I received that email from them. When I received that letter from them saying that the price was going up, they had announced just that same week that a former executive from Netflix had come over to their team. So like
Mm,
it's hard for me not to think that like they're trying that same Netflix strategy. And I feel like one of the reasons why Netflix is able to deliver their product at the price that they deliver their product at is because they're culling data on every single person who signs in and watches one of their shows. And then they're selling that data. And MoviePass has been completely transparent in the fact that they're like, we're going to take the data we collect from people who use this program and sell it to data collection firms for advertising.
nice.
So
Well, and I
like
mean, like that's been the movie business part,
that's what they've been doing
part and
forever.
parcel for
I
years,
mean,
right? Yeah, I
in
mean,
advertisement, there's a reason why. My God, all of this came together, and that was totally not the plan in the beginning. That's the reason why that 3-minute short film about Pizza Hut is at the beginning of your TMNT videotape. Is because they made that deal with Pizza Hut, and then every time you or I put in that stupid movie that we love so much, and I really do love that movie. I don't want to cast any
with my heart and
aspersions on that
soul,
film.
with my heart and
All
soul.
heart and soul. I instantly wanted pizza from Pizza Hut.
Hmm.
And every time I'm asking, a parent can only balk so many times before they give in, and Pizza Hut gets purchased.
Yep. Hey, man, that was a nice 180 that you did there. 360, 360. You came around full circle.
Yeah. Also, I just received a handwritten note from Dale Decker. Fuck Movie Pass is all it said. It also said we're getting ice cream
Breaking
Sundays.
news.
So
Breaking
looking
news. We're
forward to
getting
that.
ice cream Sundays and fuck movie pass. Excellent.
But yes,
Oh
so it is.
man.
It's just something that like I want to make sure. Like I've been sharing my story anytime that it shows up on Facebook or on Twitter because I feel like people should know it and I felt like kind of bad about it. And then I ran into a friend and I'm like, "You see this movie pass stuff?" And he's like, "Don't worry, I'm telling everybody your story." Because I feel like it's an important story. It's something that like is too good to be true. It doesn't just
Yeah.
appear to be too good to be true. It's too good to be true. And the fact
Yeah.
that yesterday on CBS This Morning, when they talked about it, it wasn't a representative from MoviePass, but it was a writer from Variety magazine who does movie reviews. Like, I feel like that's real indicative too.
Hmm.
That they're
Weird.
not coming out and talking about it, it's people commenting on it. And I want theaters to succeed. And MoviePass says that they cover the cost of every ticket that is sold, right? Which, again, their website crashed on Tuesday with people going and signing up. I don't know. I feel like they're just trying to
Yeah.
trap you, right?
Yeah.
You get a month of $10 movie. You get a year, $120, right? You see as many movies as you want, and then they're like, we're raising the price to $50 a month. But people like have just forgotten how to see movies besides MoviePass.
Yeah. Well, maybe you're just a crotchety old man. Fuck the establishment. That's what I say.
Oh, come on. I don't think I'm being a crotch here. I have like this is quantifiable evidence of
No,
their
you're totally right,
former
man.
practices. I mean, like
Yeah,
come
yeah.
on, the fact that like targeted subscribers, that just seems so screwed.
Oh yeah, man. There's no, that's definitely going to be shady as hell, and people are still going to buy into it for a while, and then they'll forget about it. But it's the movie industry is trying to do something because they need to. Like that's really the big moral of this story. It's like this is how bad things have gotten for the movie industry that they've gotten to this point where this is a thing that's actually
That
happening to people
snake
that are going
oil
in.
salesmen have been allowed in the building.
Yeah, and I mean, and honestly, because it will be good for the industry for the moment. But will this be a thing that helps everybody in the long run? I don't think so. I think that this is going to fall on its face at some point, and the bottom's going to fall out on the whole plan.
well, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Do you have anything else to add, Siege? And I'm kind of exhausted after all of that.
Now I'm going to go watch Mac and Me.
Oh yeah, Mac and Me. I'm gonna go get a Big Mac so it can be a Big Mac and Me while I watch Mac and Me.
Oh,
Whatever, Siege. And we're comic book men of a certain age. If you want to talk to Siege, and he's at Siege versus the World.
and Devon is at Devon D Decker.
Thank you very much, William. Deliver us from evil.